Mine says
Okay,
7:30.
go live. We're live. Yes. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Hopefully, somebody come on in the
Come
room.
on. Come on. Come on in the room.
Yes. Come on, peoples. Time for Warrior Wednesday.
Come on in.
Yes, we are ready, ready, ready. We need some, I need some music like my husband be playing. All
Oh
his
yeah.
music.
We need some music.
We don't need no music. Hey, Erica. Hey,
Hey,
Shanae.
Erica.
Hello.
Hey, Chanel. How
Yes,
was your
come
day?
on in. It is our Warrior Wednesday.
Hey, Latia.
Tia, good evening.
Hey, Latia. Come on in. Yes, we're going to have a good time talking about
Mm-hmm.
Rebekah.
Let
Miss
us know you here.
Rebecca.
Say something. Miss Rebecca. Y'all coming in? Okay, yep. Okay, Tia, Erica, and Chanel
Yes,
are
come on
here.
in, ladies. It's time.
Hey,
Hey, Anita.
Anita.
Hey, Nita.
How are you, Anita Mitchell?
I'm so
She
glad
wanted to
it's
Yes.
say
Friday.
happy birthday to Dana. She's not
Woo!
on it, but it's her birthday.
Yes,
Happy birthday, Dana.
Dana's birthday. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, she is celebrating tonight. Letitia had a meeting tonight. So, hey, it's the three of us on tonight to discuss good old Rebekah. I'm
Good
doing
old
double
Rebecca.
duty tonight watching the confirmation hearing while on Warrior
Oh
Wednesday.
yeah, I haven't even been
Okay.
watching.
I haven't. I watched a little bit of it. I just couldn't take all the questioning.
I saw the
I
clips
haven't
of
been
her
watching.
husband so emotional. I was like, oh.
Yeah, and the thing, yes. So
I think somebody was telling me how she was being grilled by, I think it was Ted Cruz
Ted
or something
Cruz,
like
yeah.
that. So I haven't watched it.
they
I
asked,
haven't watched much of it either. So,
yeah,
sheesh.
they asked some really dumb questions.
Yeah.
He just
They asked some
happy
really,
she in the
really dumb.
building, okay?
Right. Come on, Kentaji.
Yes,
We pulling for you,
Okay.
girl. Kentaji Brown, I think.
Kentaji
Yeah.
Jackson.
Jackson or
Jackson. Is it
Yeah,
Brown Jackson?
I think it's
Uh,
Jackson
Qatar.
Brown or Brown Jackson. So
Yeah.
yes, yes. So ladies, come on in. Well, we are. I'm trying to wait for a few more people. Hey, Carla.
Hey.
Carla's
Yes,
here.
yes, yes. So we are so excited to talk about this, Rebekah. We've had some good ones that we have talked about. Um, so this is my first time really honing in on Rebekah. Um, and so yeah, she's still in the building. She's amazing, held it together this entire time. Yeah, she has. Every time I've seen the clip, she has held herself together, a woman of strength. They're trying to wait for it to come out. They're trying to get it to come out, but
Yeah.
she has been
They want to see
holding.
that angry black woman come out of there.
Yes,
That's a
she
shame.
is holding her. Oh, thank you, Kataji Brown
Brown
Jackson.
Jackson.
I knew it
Thank
was.
you, Erica.
Thank you, Erica. Yes, yes. So we're gonna pray and lift her up as she represents um, being a first Black woman to be a Supreme Court justice. So yes, we will lift her up and intercede for her. Oh, Carla says she can't watch it because it makes her angry.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah,
like
it
you, Carl.
does. It
I
does.
feel like you, Carl, too. Yeah.
It does because it's like idiotic questioning.
Right.
And so, but God is in control.
We have not brought her this far. Okay.
Yes, yes. And we see how, even tonight, about when God promises, um, it happens, right? No
It
matter
happened.
those obstacles or what things we try to do, it happens in spite of what we think or what. So I'm just excited about that. So Rebekah is in 3 chapters. It's from Genesis, I think 24 through 27. We find the story of Rebekah. It is very interesting. It reads like a novel.
It was. It did. It did it. I just kept reading. I said, I'm looking for a book. I need to pick up the Bible.
Yes, for real.
Yes,
For
yes,
real. It's
for
some
real.
good stuff.
It was. I was like, what's happening next?
It is for real. It is so true. It was such a good story. And it was like, oh, okay. I just, oops, I spelled something wrong. I'm sorry. I was trying to type in something to put up here. But it was such a good story. I read it again this morning, like 5:00, and I was reading, and I was like, wow. Okay, Rebekah, Isaac, Jacob, all of them. Esau was just like, oh, okay. What can we learn from you guys today? So, as you all read, it talks about in the beginning of the book that she was hardworking. They called her generous. Her faith was so great. She left home to forever marry a man that she had never seen or met. That's like
Married
Love is Blind.
married at first sight before Christ.
Oh yeah, Married at First Sight.
BC.
Yes,
That's my show.
I've never seen that show. I just watched Love is Blind for the first time when I was sick last week.
Yes.
And the amazing part about it, she married a man she had never seen or anything, all by the word of his servant. And that we also know that she played favorites, right, with her children. And so now let's dig into, her story. Her story is so lengthy. So I hope, yes, it is good, Devin. I hope that most of you have read the story. We'll pull up some of the scriptures because, like I said, it's 3 chapters. It's 3 chapters. But we hope that, you'll glean from it and go back and read it again, because you'll see some other things in there. So in the questions, it was one of the questions about what type of character did Rebekah have? Like in the beginning, when we see that, I think it's like Genesis 24:12 through 27, when the servant has gone to, well, let's back up. Abraham does not want his son to marry any Canaanite woman, right? That was very interesting. So he begged and pleaded, I need you to go to my homeland. He took expensive gifts. He took camels. He took
jewelry.
He took everything he needed to go, right, to try and persuade. He was like, go to my family's, where my family is from, to find a wife for my son. And so the servant did something amazing. The servant played. He put out like a fleece, Lord, let the woman that comes to this well will give me a drink, but then also will give a drink to my camels. And then that way I'll know that this is the person that you have for Isaac. So Rebekah, right? It shows that Rebekah came to the well and he asked for a drink, and she surely said, I'll give you a drink. And then he went on, it's like, oh, I'll feed your camels also. I believe that was
27, 24, 20.
Yeah, that was 24, I think 40. No, is that when he
20, 24, 20?
Yeah, I think I'm in the part where because he explained the story 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But And then she said, I'll draw water for your camels too until they've had enough to drink. So, you know, camels are very big animals, right? So I think we were talking, Jessica, and Shannon and I were talking about, you know, those are heavy jugs of water, right? So she had to keep going to feed the camels. That was work. So, what type of character would you say that Rebekah had? What do you see about her character? The Bible says she was beautiful, but what are some things about her character that we see there?
She was definitely thoughtful.
She was selfless.
Yeah, selfless.
Yep.
I said she was kind. I think that's a really kind thing to do. Like I can see myself giving a man a drink. Right.
Right. Did you want me to get a camel?
Back and forth and feed no camel. See, you know what?
They got gallons of water in those.
Out, right?
They can hold gallons of water in those pumps on their backs. So, how many times did she go back and forth?
Back and forth from the well, carrying jugs of water. And we're talking about they wasn't lightweight pots. You know, we're talking about water is heavy. Right. And so that was the amazing part was that she was kind. So here Chanel said she was non-complaining. Latia, she was a server and kind. And Deaconess Angelina said she was giving. Yes, she was
that's
giving.
Good.
I think that's good, you know. And that's why, right, it showed. Now I can understand the prayer that the servant had because this would be a good wife. Compassionate, yes, Latia, compassionate.
That's a good
being
one.
thoughtful and kind. Those are characters.
And she was kind of personable to talk to a stranger, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. Even, you know, yes. So then of course, like after he realized that Anita said she was reliable. Yes.
Okay, probably maybe trustworthy could go along with that too.
Yes. So it shows what trait it would be to have a wife. So it also shows too, like what I got from it too is that you never know what you're doing and the impact it has, or what type of test you may be, you know, things that God wants to see what you would do. And a lot of times, you know, we live in this world, and so we may question a lot of things. We question motives, we question why, you know, or we have been burned before, so we're not going to do any more than that, you know, like, okay, you know, somebody asks you for something, I'm gonna give a little bit, let me see what they do with that, and then that will determine if, you know,
look at
do more, right?
Yeah.
And it just showed you do what you can to be helpful and don't worry about all the other stuff.
Right.
Because he was traveling, you know. So it was interesting. So one of the next question was, right, how are you like Rebekah, or are you different from her? I already expressed that I already said that I wouldn't have fed them camels. I would have said, here, you want to use my jugs to feed you? I'd have been real nice. Want me to help? You want to use my jugs to feed your camels? But is anybody like her, or you feel you're different from her?
I like to think that I'm genuinely a kind person, and thoughtful, you know, and the fact that I'll do, well, you know, whatever I can for somebody. If it's in my power to do, I'm willing to do it. So I think I'm like her in that way.
Okay.
You know, not really looking for anything in return. You know, just, you know, whatever I can do within my means to help somebody else out is never a problem for me. Yeah, I'm like Chanel said, I don't complain much, you know, selfless, and I'll give you 100% if I can every time. Yep, very good, Chanel. That's
true. That's true. Latia says, I'm like her in the sense that I'm willing to help someone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
say if I have enough, I will always share.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about my last, but if I got enough,
At least you honest. Hey,
Right, that's
I heard
honesty
you
right
say,
there.
but I did clearly hear you say, if I have
if
enough,
I have enough,
I'll
I
share.
would
Now, if I
definitely.
don't have enough, you short.
Yeah. She said you gonna forget it.
I love it. I love it. That is funny. Tia said, I'm kind of similar to her as well. Kind can be too. Yes. I think I was watching something. I can't remember what it was. Um, but the lady gave her last, she did all this stuff to be so helpful and, just going out of her way. And she didn't really have it. But it was just showing how, how we should be selfless in our giving. Um, and when you see someone in need, and so his camels, like he said, he had laid his camels down, which would have been a sign that they were tired, that they traveled a long ways. And so um, that's something that I do have to, when I help you, I will. I will. Okay, I'm always willing to help until my hand is bit.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Don't bite the hand, right? Look, I'm gonna help you out, but
I
when you
know that's
bite me,
right,
I'm
Miss
pulling it back.
Angela. I know
It
that's
ain't
right.
coming back out again. Yes, I hear
I
you.
know
I
that's
hear
right.
you. And that's the thing, but it's, I guess the difference would be between what God tells you to do and what we want to do, right?
Yeah.
So in Genesis 24, right, verses 28 through 58, right, it talks about how when um when the servant realized that she was the one, right? He at that moment he took out, where does it say? I'm all over the place. Okay, I'm gonna pull it. He when he did that, he pulled out jewelry. He just went to town, and what did he do?
It says then at last, when the camels finished drinking, he took out a gold ring for her nose and two large gold bracelets for her wrist.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he took out the gold nose ring and two gold bracelets. And we have to realize we're talking about pure gold.
Yes.
Pure gold. We're not talking about the stuff
Played it.
we ran, played it, you know, pure gold, a value that's significant, right? And he put that on her, and like, oh, and then I think he asked whose daughter she was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can you, would your father have room to put me up at night? But her father had passed, so her brother, she was talking to her brother. Um, so when she explained that she was the grandparents of Nahor, her grandparents were Nahor, that is from Abraham's family, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he just knew he hit the jackpot. It was
Mm-hmm.
this couldn't get any better. This was what God ordained for them to be together. And so he went on and talked to her family and so forth. So when he mentioned that she was to be the wife of Isaac, they were saying it's fine, but she needs to stay home for 10 days. And then he was like, we need to go, ma'am.
Yeah, don't hold me up.
We can't hold you up. My
We
master's
got
old.
We gotta
We got to
roll.
get we got to get back. So they sent word to her to come. And I love what it said. I think it was Genesis 24:58. So they called Rebekah. Are you willing to go with this man? They asked
Mm-hmm.
her. And
Mm-hmm.
she replied,
Yes,
yes,
I will.
I will go.
Mm.
No hesitation. No, let me think about it. Yes, I will go. So it makes me think about, Pastor's message that he spoke of a couple of weeks ago, a week before last. Are you willing? But How would you react
Mm.
if God called you away from home and family? What would have to happen to make you obey?
Woo!
It's
I
loaded.
I said this being honest. I said the Lord repeatedly telling me to go and giving me multiple signs.
That's it, Jess. That's
I'm,
it.
I'm just being
I
honest.
need
I don't.
confirmation.
I
Yeah.
need. Oh, I need the stars to align. I need to
I-
see the things
Did
because
you say I need the stars to align?
I
yes.
need to just be
Yes.
making plan because
Jupiter aligned with Mars. God revealed to me that this is what you are
yes,
telling me.
for me.
Me too. I agree. I agree.
Deidre said she may miss her blessing.
Yeah,
Okay.
But
but
that's
it was
honest.
Yeah.
that's honest. We're not saying you're wrong. No one
Yeah.
is saying you're wrong, because the Bible here is for us to help us with our faith. So we know. I mean, we've seen fleeces, we've seen questions, and we don't know the time frames, right? Of when the question and when how long your response. So it's a lot there we don't know, but it's here for us to see that, you know what, the willingness to do what God wants you to do. So
Mhm.
it's not like you say no immediately. You may say, "Hey, God, I hear you. Can you give me some clarity? Can you let me make sure it's you?" Um,
Yeah.
because I mean, I get it. You know, we hearing what we want. We're looking at opportunity. It may sound good, or you know, like it was obviously he was rich, right?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't know if he ever mentioned the servant. He never mentioned. Did he say Abraham?
No, I don't think he mentioned. He
No.
just said my master.
Uh-huh. I
He
don't
didn't
think
mention
Yes.
he
any
ever said
names.
he never said Abraham.
I would definitely need the sign to be clear that if it's of the Lord telling me to leave my home and family.
Yeah.
I know that's right, Chanel. Chanel said if I was 100% physically healthy, I'd be gone. I I hear you, Chanel. Yes, because you know you know when you think about it, you know you're leaving your country, your home, your family. But I'm sure the stories of Abraham, right, um, were prevalent. I'm sure because we're talking about they used oral history, so they constantly talked about their family and how Abraham left. And I'm sure it's no doubt that Abraham, it was known that Abraham was prosperous, he was wealthy, um, and that he left to go. But it's just, how would you react? I don't know. I
And
sometimes think God prepares you. Like I kind of think it's it's not like, oh, out the blue you get a phone call, you got to leave tomorrow to
Yeah.
go live in Texas to marry, but I think your heart becomes prepared. Like you may be wanting something new or
mhm.
thinking, I wonder what it would be like.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then, God, do you're praying about it. You're
Yes.
seeking him. And then when he says, go to,
You're
you
prepared.
still will question. I think you
Yeah.
still will question. Human nature is to like, hey, God, is it really you?
Mhm.
Is it not just me because I'm tired here and I want to go somewhere? Or I know I'm going to miss my family, but hey, they can come visit. Um, it's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
How would you react if that would happen? And like most people said, it would be we would need more help. So we know that Rebekah left, right? She left clearly with him, and then when she saw
She
when
was
she
might have been looking for a prospect.
when she saw Isaac from afar off, she said, "Who that be that huckleberry?"
Yes.
She said, "Who that? Who that man
Wait a
right
minute.
there?" That's my master. And so it shows that they had a deep love. They had great love for one another. They had a serious love story. We see that Rebekah also could not have children. And Isaac, with his love for her, he prayed for her. And she did conceive, and she had twins in her belly. But we see, right, that um, her twins, right, her twins were warring in her womb, right? So she was like, "Hey, Lord, what's going on?" And God tells her that her um,
23, 25, 23.
yes, Genesis 25:23. Let me see, I can pull it up. Ooh. And the Lord told her, "The sons in your womb will become two nations. From the very beginning, the two nations will be rivals. One nation will be stronger than the other, and your older son will serve the younger son."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, of course, when she gives birth, right, they're at the end, right? Esau, I mean, Jacob was holding on to Esau's foot as he was coming out. Um, but they say it's the saddest scripture. But Isaac loved Esau because he enjoyed eating the wild game Esau brought home. But
Mm-hmm.
Rebekah loved Jacob. So we see there that these two parents had what? What is the word they had?
Favorites.
They had
Favorite.
They
favorites.
have favorites.
Some favoritism.
Yeesh.
Favoritism, right? So how do you think that affected their relationship? Jacob and Esau's
Hmm.
relationship, to have favoritism in the um, in the
In the
room.
household.
Jennifer said she would have been out. Wait a minute, I just saw that. That thing is moving slow. My thing is moving slow over here.
I think she
I
was
know
talking
that's
about when
right.
when Rebecca left. She said, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they probably see kid. I think children are so intuitive. Like, I know a lot of people may discount them, but like they sense so much. And I think that they definitely could feel the difference, or they could sense, the different treatment, which only fueled their rivalry, like it
Mm-hmm.
made it worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they could definitely tell that something was different. One knew mommy favored me and one knew daddy favored me, and they probably used it to play against, play off of each, play off, play it against them. Um, yeah, I think they probably definitely could tell what was what.
Yeah, I think, of course. I mean, there's no way around it. You daddy's favorite, I'm mommy's
Mm-hmm.
favorite. Um,
Mm-hmm.
And we put them at competition.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
that's what favoritism does, breed competition, because even though I may be favored by one, I still want the love
Mm-hmm.
of the other. I may not think I can get it, so I try to do things to get it. Some preachers I've heard them say called, Jacob the mama boys, um, and Esau is daddy's man, right? Um, and so uh we know this happens even now, right? I think Anita just said kids do that now. um how can how can we, parents, people who are parents, have kids, or even, your nieces and nephews, even things of that
Mm-hmm.
nature, or your godchildren, how can you avoid, um, because some kids think your parents have favorites and they don't have favorites,
Right.
but you think
Mine.
that because of, whatever. How can you avoid that thinking? Because it I've seen it in a family where it does breed competition and they're
Mm-hmm.
always fighting to
Mm-hmm.
um get that.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you stop that? Or how can you, what does the book say? How can you avoid thinking in children about their parents or favorites?
I know my kids definitely think that I have a favorite child. I do not. I love all my children equally, but they're all different. I have 4 children and all of them are different. So I don't have a favorite, but what I do, I know the strengths of each child. So all I can do is praise that child for the thing that they do well, or depend on that child for the thing that they do well. They're, yeah, they each require something different.
Mm-hmm.
And I just try and find that thing in each one to make each one of them feel special. But I don't have a favorite. Me and my husband, we try to present a united front. Even if I may not agree with something he says, we talk about that behind the closed doors, but in front of them, it's a united front. So, nobody sees that, well, daddy said this, but mommy said this. Don't try that in our house. So,
Yeah, don't do that. That daggone Deidre, I tell my kids I don't like none of them.
whatever.
That's what
Only
my dad does. He be like, y'all make me sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Latia, each child requires different things. Um, Tia asked a question: can you really avoid that? Sometimes parents do tend to favor one child more than the other.
That's true.
Um, and I agree. We know, as I tell people, tell all the time. Even I tell my son, because we only got one. Praise the Lord Jesus. Um, but I tell them, parents are. We don't know everything. We don't do everything right.
Yes.
Parenting is hard. You're trying to parent, either you're trying to parent like your parents parented you, or not
Or
parent like your
not like they did. Yes.
parents. So then you're stuck between like what is working, and then you're trying to learn your child, and then, oh well, you know what, that doesn't really work, so maybe I need to do something. So everybody is learning. It's just, unfortunately, what was that show? It was some movie or something where they say your adulthood is trying to overcome your parenting as a child, what you went through as a child.
Mm.
um uh Jennifer said, definitely my girl requires more. Help me, Lord.
Oh, Journey.
Don't
know
do that
it's
to Johnny.
it's always, it's always one. That's
Yeah.
why I said I knew with my child and his makeup, it was no way I could have more than one. No way. But Rashida, you have to pray for wisdom, because you have to parent each child differently
Yes,
depending
Minister
upon the
Rashida.
needs of the child. And that is
Yeah.
so true.
Mm-hmm.
You can't group them all together, because then we start that thing, well, why aren't you like such and
Mm-hmm.
such? Or
Mm-hmm.
and that, of course, is not the best way to do it. As parents, we sometimes know what is deemed as more attention to one child over the other. Um, yes, it may appear to be, or a child may need something, like it is something different, and it looks like you're doing more, but um, that's how that child is.
And then I think also, from a sibling point of view, depending on what that sibling experience, with life experience, like with me and my sister, she had a different life childhood than I did. So
Mm-hmm.
it was different. She required more than
Mm-hmm.
I did most of her life, so it just depends. I think that also plays a part, like sometimes kids with divorced parents, or this kid may have a different parent, and then this kid has their same mom and dad in the household, but this kid may have a separate parent. So it's different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It
Mm-hmm.
is. Parenting is work.
It's hard work.
It's hard work, but then
So rewarding.
we're all children, so we also remember what we thought, what
Mm-hmm.
we were thinking, what our parents should have done, or what they we wish they could have done more of, or what they didn't do, or why'd you do that for them. And I can say, growing up, my mom, she tried to do equal. If somebody got something, we all were getting something. She gonna go to the store. Do you want anything? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I already knew we were coming to the store for Tracy, so I'm not thinking I'm getting anything going to the store. But she felt like, oh, do you want to make sure we didn't feel that way. And I'd be like, I'm good, you don't have to. But I get it. Some children have been upset because, oh, you're buying something for this. Carla, I agree with Shannon. Children require different things based on their personality or needs, and it can be challenging.
Yes.
Yes.
That's it, Carla. It can be really challenging.
Anita said David and Little Island say we let Dominique get away with everything because he's the youngest.
He's the youngest.
That's true. The youngest.
He's the youngest.
We do know, because I think we had this whole discussion before that the older children, the oldest child or the first child is the test dummy, as Shannon said. Sorry,
I said experiment. Shannon said
experiment. Experimental test dummy, they kind of mean the same. It just sounds better, right? But the first one, you are like, you got this idea, and then you're gonna do this, and then the second come along, you realize I didn't need to do all that. Then the third, oh, we didn't need to do that either. By the fourth, fifth, you like, I'm tired. Just go sit down.
Get in there with the rest of them and learn the ropes.
It is true. Jennifer said that's true too. Time and experience makes a difference. And I do. Your age, everything, it makes a big difference. I do believe. I just tell them I was old and tired by the time Kaya started growing. The youngest always gets away with the most. Parents get tired by the time the last one comes around. Joke, but for real, it is. It's a joke, but it is so.
It's true.
It is so true. That baby is so true. I like that, Erica. It also has to do where the parents are in their own lives.
True.
And yes.
Very true.
I like that. When you know better, you do better. Mm-hmm. And I agree. That's great, true. That's true.
Yep.
Okay, this is a good discussion. Makes us think about having a parenting workshop or class or talk or something like that, because I think parenting is, we know it's hard, but there are a lot of variables there, and sometimes to discuss it or different ways, and then that way how you can help the older ones, because I think it does carry on with this thought process of maybe some of the things we did to the older ones. The TSA was harder on my oldest son, and I didn't realize that he felt that he couldn't fail at anything for fear of disappointing me. So he asked that I allow his younger siblings to find their own way.
He was the experiment. He was the
experiment, and that may not been your intention. Mm-hmm. But you always push you got to do this, you can't do that, and then it's this, and this is good. This is good, but these Rebekah here, Rebekah took parenting to a whole new level.
She did.
Okay.
She did.
She took it to a whole new level.
She did.
Right? even though the story, right, it goes into, it doesn't really go too much into how when Esau was hungry and Jacob had this pot of stew, right, that he wanted some. So Jacob says, sell me your birthright and you can have some
You can
soup.
get some food.
Sir, you petty. But you know, that wanting to be that, okay, sell me your birthright. So
That's so extreme. Nobody's like, go get something for me. But it's like,
yes.
You know, siblings.
Can you imagine saying something like that to one of your siblings? They ask you to go get something for them.
Like, give me $5. Like, no,
say, give me your birthright. Give me your inheritance. Give me what?
What?
It just showed that it was already in them. They were warring in the womb.
Yep.
And so when you think about it, right? So he already gave him his birthright for some food. I think Shannon, you read in the your commentary. What did it say?
I was just reading. I'm trying now. I gotta find it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. How it said that Esau didn't even want the responsibilities of the oldest. He didn't want it. So that's why, to me, it seemed like it was so easy for him to say, all right, give me some food. You can have a birthright.
And he was hungry too.
Yeah, he didn't want the responsibility of being the oldest. He didn't want everything that came with that.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it?
Yeah, when you hungry and you
make some rash decisions. When
decisions, not thinking clearly, but he did it, right? So
25:34.
Yes.
This is 25:34. It says, then Jacob gave Esau some bread and lentil stew. Esau ate the meal, then got up and left. He showed content for his rights as the firstborn.
He didn't value it at the time. Yeah, just take it. It don't mean nothing until he got older. When Isaac wanted to do wanted to give his blessing. Now, the amazing part was that in 27, when he was old and turning blind, he told him to go to, prepare some game for me, prepare my favorite dish, bring it here for me to eat. Then I will pronounce the blessing that belongs to you, my firstborn son, before I die. But that Rebekah overheard what Isaac had said to his son Esau, right? Crazy. So when he left the hunt, she was tricky. She said to her son Jacob, listen, I overheard your father. I overheard what your father said. Woo. Now go to verse 8. Listen to me. Do exactly as I tell you. She had the whole plan.
She had a scheming.
She mapped that thing out.
She made the food because she knew how to prepare his favorite dish.
Okay.
Then you want to take the food to your father, and so he can bless you before he dies. So Jacob was like, Mom, Esau hairy, I'm smooth.
She got the head from the goat.
What if my father touches me? He'll see that I'm trying to trick him. Woo! Then he said he gonna curse me. She said, let the curse fall on me, my son. Just do what I tell you. Go out and get the goats. Crazy.
Too far.
It's so good though. But the amazing part of Deidre, she was a whole mess.
But they do say the mamas and them boys, okay, because the mothers be lying for these men. They be doing all type of stuff. Even okay.
Yes.
Now we know about girlfriend 1 and 2.
Yeah.
See. You know what? It's so true. It's so true. Erica knows. One of our friends, her boyfriend was whole married, but his mother helped Fool my girlfriend, his whole mother.
His whole mother.
The number he had was to the mother's house. They lived near each other. So when she called him at the mother's house, the mother was going to tell him to come to her house.
Married.
Yes, whole married.
Erica.
It was the craziest thing. I will never forget it, but his mother helped him to trick, have a whole nother relationship. But that's a sidebar.
Yeah.
That's a good sidebar.
That was a good sidebar, Jess.
True. That is so true. That is so true. I'm so glad, but I remember that because I would never forget that. When the mama don't like the wife,
Woo!
that is so true.
Woo!
When the mama don't like the wife, they don't care. They would do anything. But here, the question was, why do you think Rebekah resorted to trickery to gain the promise given to her when she was pregnant? Because God told her that the youngest son was going to rule over the older son, and he was going to serve him. So this was already supposed to happen. Now, did she have to go into trickery for it to happen?
And that's a crazy question, because what if that's how it was supposed to happen in the first place?
It's so interesting, because why did she have to resort to trickery?
Yeah,
because she had that whole plan.
Yeah,
and she told him to do. Yes, Jennifer.
That's it,
She
Jen.
was trying to help God.
That's it, Jen.
That is it. Trying to help God. Now, God don't need our help.
So,
especially no trickery help. You're gonna lie. And then the sad part of that story is that Isaac asked Jacob like 3 times.
Yeah.
And he lied all 3 times.
Every time he lied to him.
He had an opportunity to, but he followed. But it also shows, here we go again, the power of the woman, the power of the mother.
Yep.
The power that we have to possess, because he trusted his mother. He loved his mother because his mother loved him. She couldn't possibly be steering me wrong with this, because she already said, let the curse fall on me and not you.
Right.
Child. Erica said she did not have to go into your trickery. She did not trust God. I agree. Maybe she didn't trust what God said and wanted to make it happen on her own. Yeah. Hey, Minister Tina. Yes, trust was not big with them. No, it was not. No, it was not. Now, it's amazing because in Romans 9, it does mention about Rebekah and the promise made to them, because it was a promise. God he spoke clearly to her. So why did you think you had to go in? But then I think we talked about too that he had already sold him his birthright. So even if he did receive the blessing, he had to give it to Isaac. I mean, to Jacob. He had to give it to him.
Yeah, she wanted to ensure that her baby got that blessing. She wanted to ensure that her favorite son got that blessing. She wanted to make sure. Make very sure.
Carla took us out.
These mamas are they are creating monsters that women marry and make their lives hell.
Yes.
Yes.
Mom. Yes.
Mamas, because we're always trying to help God. But if you know the story of Jacob, this happens to him too later. When we get there, I think we talk of later. It happens to him. It's just that seed keeps going until he gets to change.
Yeah.
That's later, but it's just really when you think about Rebekah, it's like you didn't have to do that. So the next question was, do you think later that she regretted her actions? Like, do you think later on, like 10 years, it said 10 years in the book.
I do.
I don't know.
I
I
think
don't
she
know.
does. I think she does regret it.
Yeah.
And let me show you where I think she regrets it. I think she regrets it when I read Genesis 27, where is it? 45. She says, when he comes down and forgets what you have done to him, because remember, she's telling Jacob to leave.
Yeah.
Because the brother's mad at you. She says, I will send for you to come back. Why should I lose both of you in one day? So to me, that says, I already, I lost your brother. He's not gonna love me anymore. So at least I can keep your love if you get out of here and don't let your brother kill you. So to me, that shows some type of regret or remorse for what you did, or realizing the severity of, your actions. So that's like the only thing that showed me that she possibly had an inkling of feeling bad for what she did.
Now, you know what? Now, after reading that verse, there is, that possibility, but I think it's also showing impatience. So it's, you received a word from God, and He told you what will happen, but then if hearing that, because she overheard. First of all, she overheard a conversation. Nobody was talking to her. Nobody was talking to her. She overheard. So she was like, "Oh, it's getting ready to go down."
She
God,
panicked.
I don't know how you're gonna work this. So let me help you out. Let me
run away.
Let me help you out, because this is not about to happen, right? And so she probably did later, when that hatred and I'm not thinking, because the word was that one was going to serve the other. But I think it's when we think about when God gives us a word or He tells us something, to that being patient and trusting Him to work it out, even when we hear something that may be contrary to what He said. That made me think about it in that way. Like, God, when you have told me something, and then I'm trying to work it out because I just heard something else from somebody else. And then I question your ability to do, or like Jennifer said, helping out. Impatient, Lord Jesus. So if you could summarize, what did you learn from her life? What did you learn from her life? I would say swift obedience. I need to be swift.
That's good.
In obedience. And I think I said is take my hands off. Stop trying to help God out.
And I said I don't allow my situation to cause me to do something out of character that I may regret later on. Somebody beautiful who did something ugly, because a lot of times people only remember you for the ugly stuff that you do. They don't remember that beautiful girl that came out and drew the water for the camels and for the servant. They remember Rebekah, who overheard her husband and went in there and tricked him into giving away the blessing to the second child.
That until you just said it, it went from her being that servant and being a great candidate for a wife and caring, to now being remembered for aiding and trickery.
Yeah.
I love what Carla says too. That is sobering, that what we do affects our children positively and negatively. She
Yes,
thanks
God.
God for salvation, deliverance, and repentance.
Hmm.
Wow, that's good.
That's so good.
Deidre, wait on God. He cannot lie. He will do just what he said. Anita said, have patience. Erica, that old scheming Rebekah. Um, yeah, I want to be swift to move when God says something.
Yeah.
That's really, truly what I want. That I don't second guess him. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Latia, she seemed to have changed from the caring and loving serving person she was in the beginning. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
it's the birthday girl.
Yeah, what you doing on here? God doesn't need my help.
He doesn't need my help.
No, he does
Birthday girl.
not. Birthday girl
Hey,
needs a
happy
break from
birthday.
her little birthday thing
So hop on.
to hop on. He doesn't. He does not
He doesn't
need
need my
our
help.
help.
Always messing something up.
Yes. So this was so good. Anybody else what you learned from this was so good. I love how this book helps us to see them as people. I really do. And what we can learn from them because and just as a parent just makes you think about, like I'm not going to be resorting to trickery to get you what I know God has promised you. And I falls in a lot of areas of our lives because a lot of times the counterfeit comes to cover up what God, wants to do. And and it's easy to fall for that because, this is, Minister Tina said there are always two sides to a coin. Yes, there
Come on,
are.
Miss Tina. Yep, she
There
flipped that coin
are.
real quick, didn't
She flipped that
she?
coin.
Flipped it on y'all.
She told that baby, just do what I tell you to do.
She put the goat hair on his arm.
Yes, can you
Yes.
imagine how he must have smelled? Oh, you know
Oh,
that didn't know.
that poor Isaac. You smell like Esau, but you sound like Jacob.
He
Yeah.
smelled like dead goat too.
But
Sheesh.
it's amazing to do, and like when Carla said, do what I tell you to do. Stop asking me 20 questions. Just do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
And we're gonna win this thing. You hear me? Just do what I said. And a lot of times, like Carla said, positive and negative, what we do and just that repentance, what God help me, to not lead astray. Even just wow, that's some good stuff. Smelling like a dead goat. Yeah, that's funny.
Yes.
I just trip off. He asked 3 times. He asked 3 different times.
And he lied every time.
He lied every time because he had to do what his mama told him to do. He already knew. You better come out there with that birthright.
Yes,
You better come out there. You better come out that tent with that birthright.
You better get that blessing.
He gonna steal that blessing.
Yeah.
He stole it. He stole it.
She panicked.
She did. So it looks like our next person. This was so great. I love you ladies that come on and take the time to do this study because it is so good and I'm loving it. So next is Rachel. We probably, I wonder, can we do Leah and Rachel together?
Yeah.
Because their stories are basically in the same. They coincide. So we'll
And
do
they were
Rachel and
sisters.
Leah sibling rivalries. Like, no, just.
Yes, very much so.
But
Mhm.
yeah, it's just a
It
sad.
was like tick for tack.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Then you see Esau mad at the end when he didn't get that blessing. But he said he stole my birthright. No, you gave him that birthright. Now you mad.
But at that point, he did steal it though. He was going supposed to get his blessing. He probably forgot that he gave it to him. So when you think about it, it's just it's an interesting dynamic. But from Rebekah, um, just how your life, just that she went from swift obedience to helping God out by going not in a positive way, in a negative way. Yes, watch what you say. I have how many study questions for them?
I think it's like a total of 13 for both.
Yeah, it's not that many. Some of them we can probably I'll probably go through and try to put them together because their story kind of goes a little bit. If I see it's too much, I'll let you guys know we only do one. We'll see if I haven't gotten into it because you learn something new from these ladies. I swear I am. I am. So I want to thank you guys. So we're gonna wish Dana happy birthday. What's today? Wednesday. So Saturday we have morning prayer, early morning prayer, 7 a.m. as our church prays on Saturday mornings. And it's Sunday's worship. So 9 a.m. in the building. So hopefully we see you guys on Sunday, either in person or virtually. So we thank you guys for this time. We just love you all. And we want you to, hey, keep reading Genesis. I advise you to keep on reading because the story is getting so good.
Yes.
In the book of Genesis, with this Isaac and now he trying to Jacob. Lord, Jacob, Gary, go find his wives. So all right, guys, you all have a wonderful evening. We love you all. God bless you. Warriors are out the building. Is that where we're at? Oh, I can never do it. Oh, there you go. Love y'all. Good night.
Good night, everybody.